We are back now in Most Buffalo, and from Hollywood to the jazz stage, a unique performance is coming to Buffalo and explores the journey of finding your creative voice. Actor Patrick Gallo and Grammy-winning jazz pianist George Caldwell have joined forces for How to Be an Artist. It's a 90-minute theatrical event that blends personal storytelling with live music, offering audiences a coming-of-age story filled with lessons on creativity, discovery, and pursuing a passion, which is super important. So joining us now in studio are actor Patrick Gallo and Grammy-winning jazz pianist George Caldwell. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
What inspired you to come up with the concept of this show?
Well, I mean, I had always wanted to do a one-man show about my life, but that's a very daunting task.
Yes.
Mark Goldman, who's producing it, he kind of put the fire under me to go like, you know, hey, these are great stories. Like, you should think about it. And I started to really go through, and it's a very long process, but I started to really isolate these moments, and I'm so grateful that I did, because it's like the ultimate therapy. It's like the ultimate art to just say, this is me and this is how I feel. And so I you know, it's it's been very exciting to like dive into it and really pull my life out and put it up and look at it and sculpt it.
You're putting it all out there for everyone on display, and 90 minutes is a long time, but I'm sure you had to do a lot of self-editing.
Lots of editing. You know, I know you know, other iterations of the show was about 90 minutes. I think we're looking at like 75.
Okay.
You know, because our thing is like, let's just get out of here before they're like, oh, what is this thing gonna end? I told George, remember I said, George, listen, we gotta get out of here, and they have to be saying, why didn't they stay?
You
How
leave
come
them
they're
wanting
leaving?
more.
That's
Yeah.
Count Basie, he used to always say, always leave them wanting more.
Exactly, exactly. You both have really strong ties to Buffalo. So what does this mean to be performing this in Buffalo?
Oh my God. It means that this Buffalo for me is an adopted city. I've been here since '06. And
you can say you're a Buffalonian now.
Yeah. I really am.
You earned it. You earned it.
And I've learned to love this place. It's my home now. It's my home. So it means everything, especially to create a new work of art.
Yeah.
And share it with your community. It just means everything, because when you as artists, you put out whatever it is that you do in the art world, and performing art, it has the power to communicate beyond words. People can understand. There's things that have become symbols in our time here as human beings that are recognizable between human beings, and so you can see and you can feel the depth of someone else, and they can feel the depth of what you are doing and who you are. And that's a very precious thing to me.
Emotional and making those connections.
Yes.
How did you decide on the score? I mean, that's coming up, because it's one thing to come up with the content and a storyline and the story you're going to tell, but then you've got to mesh it with music. I mean, that's a whole other process.
It is another process.
Yeah.
And the beauty of that is that, you know, we came into this together, and, you know, I felt so honored that I was working with this great jazz pianist, and, you know, and I love musicians, and so, you know, I always feel like they elevate everything that I am when I'm able to creatively work with them intimately. We didn't know what we wanted to do, and that was on purpose. And we sit together at his house. We still do. But we started just hanging out at his house by the piano, and we would talk about music, and we would listen to music, and we would listen to music that maybe we hadn't listened to in a little while, and then we listened to it together. And there were moments where we were just both crying.
I know, we were like looking at each other.
Because we were like, we're sharing, like, oh my God, we love this, we love this piece. Listen to John Coltrane, listen to Miles, and we're just, you know, so caught up in our love of music. And so to find the pieces in there, and they're based on the emotional offerings of each monologue. And that's another, so when it comes together, suddenly these pieces of music that you loved independently are part of the story. And it's yet another honor.
Because we shared that amazing wow moment that this music brought to us you know, separately, and then we're just like, wow.
On the same page. Yeah, and it all
man.
flowed.
Oh, it's the greatest
Wow.
feeling in the world. You just hear a horn or you hear a piano key and you just go, how is that affecting me this deeply? How is that possible?
Well, it's almost like it was written for you.
Yeah.
That's what it feels.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And then we get to look at it and go, you know what? Let's do a variation of that.
Yeah.
And I'd say, George, play me a variation. Oh no! Now we start sculpting and molding and playing, and it's the greatest part of the process. It's just sitting together, learning about each other, and exploring, you know, music and art together.
Life.
And then
Yeah.
layering it into our little, you know, our intimate little storytelling experience. Yeah.
What do you think it's going to be like to perform at the Cas? Because that's a historic building and it's a relatively new performance space in Buffalo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, George has performed there before.
Yeah. I was there,
Yeah.
I guess, during the first week that it opened.
Okay.
And then I've been back a few times since then. Yeah. It's a beautiful space.
It is.
really, really, really well and meticulously restored.
Wow.
And it's got these Art Deco accents and stuff. It's
It's
beautiful.
very beautiful
Very
space.
beautiful. Yeah.
And for me, this show originally was built in the theater, so the Cas is a very different venue to
Yeah.
perform this
It
in.
seems
Which,
like it's intimate.
Yeah.
well, it's
Yeah.
less intimate than the theater, but it's intimate for a concert
Yeah, yeah,
space.
yeah.
And so when I always perform this in the theater, that was a very, very singular experience. You know, monologues, music, blackouts. You know, but this is a concert venue. This is a music venue, and so that was one of the exciting things about doing it there. It's like this show wasn't built for this kind
So
of
it's
venue.
totally different.
So now it's
No.
more like a concert
Yeah.
in a lot of it's intimate, but it's still a concert venue.
Yeah.
And so this is a version of the show, but dressed up in a little concert coat. You know what I mean?
It's
Yeah.
What do people need to know if they want to go? Are tickets still available? Is there a
Yes.
website they should go to?
The CasBuffalo.com.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty easy. Maybe it'll be on the screen. Is it on the screen?
June
What am I looking
19th.
at right now?
Just
No.
the June 19th. I think.
June
Yeah, I think they
19th
just showed
and
it.
20th.
Yeah.
You could go to the website, and then there's posters here and there. But yes, buy your. Am I talking to the audience? If I'm looking right there.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
We're telling stories. He's telling them. He's got angels in his fingertips, and I've got angels, but lots of other different types of personalities blasting out of my mouth. Come down, and we put together a very interesting experience. And guess what? If you're at a buffet, our buffet has no food. It's all emotion. So come down and eat with us and stuff your face, right?
Yeah.
It'll be a good time.
It'll be a good
time had by all.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. That's Patrick Gallo and George Caldwell from How to Be an Artist. We appreciate your time here in Most Buffalo.
We appreciate your time too. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
There